Here's what they don't get about gamers. Whether it's an MMO, MOBA, or console shooter, it's always 1v1, you versus you, in a battle to unlock your best. Something else they don't know about, Force Factor's 4-Brain Pro Gamer, only at the Vitamin Shop. Spike your stats with these capsules for improved reaction time, focus, accuracy, and decision-making. Plus, get essential blue light protection. Find your edge with 4-Brain Pro Gamer or Smart Nootropic for mental stamina and concentration. Score both at VitaminShop.com or the Vitamin Shop store near you.
Hi, you're listening to the Real Work Stories podcast, and I'm your host, Benjamin. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you. And if you tuned in before, welcome back. Now, this is the podcast where I talk about all things customer service, from the customer to the corporation and everything in between. But before I get started, I got to say thank you to everyone for all your support for the podcast. Thank you for all the likes, shares, comments, downloads. I appreciate it. I only say it every episode because I mean it every episode. And if you don't already follow me on Facebook and Instagram, make sure you do so at Real Work Stories Podcast. That's where you're going to find out about topics, episode snippets, discussions, and more. And today, I'm going to tell you about the time I got written up and possibly got in like borderline the most amount of trouble you can get in without actually being fired. Yeah, this is probably like if I would have sneezed the wrong way again after this, I'd have definitely been fired. Now, interestingly enough, this situation is probably when I started to realize, really started to realize that depending on who you work for, and not just company-wise, but like in terms of like your management staff, they don't really care about what actually happens when they get reports and stuff. They care about what the customer said, and they will take the customer's word, like, without any, like, hesitation or no real thought being put into, like, what really happened, right? So, let me just explain. Here's what happened. And so, it was like, back when I was still working for this crazy cell phone company that shall remain nameless. It was a Saturday. And the reason I remember it was a Saturday is because for Saturdays at this particular company, we had 3 supervisors scheduled to work, which should have been the first red flag. We had one to work like the early morning day shift, one to cover the midday shift to like late afternoon, and then you had me closing it out for the late night crew. And our shifts overlapped by like 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. So you usually weren't there for a very long time by yourself. But if you know anything about working in a call center, when you got 200-300 agents and you the only supervisor in the building, like, yeah, that gets pretty hectic. And that should have been a red flag, but I let it go. Now, leading up to this particular Saturday, the other 2 supervisors that were supposed to work both already told me that they had PTO for the day, and they were literally trying to tell me like, hey, we're not coming to work this day. You should call out. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and work. Me being a good employee, said I'm gonna do it. And not only that, I'm gonna come in Saturday and do some OT, because I wouldn't want the business to suffer, because we're understaffed. So I'll come in a little bit early, try to help out. Stupid. I shouldn't have did it. I should have just called out. That's what I should have did. But if I did, I wouldn't have this story. So I guess it works. Now this day, my schedule is again this crazy 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. But like I said, I did overtime this day, so I was probably at work like noon. Yeah, so I worked noon from one day to 1 a.m. the next day. I was just crazy. Anyway, now, just like I anticipated, just like I thought, I get to work, and there's literally already like a laundry list of things that I got to do for the day. And it looks like one of those old Yellow Pages phone books they used to send you in the mail and just drop off at your mailbox or on your porch. And it's like, as soon as I get one thing done, I hear my name for something else. As soon as I finish one phone call, phone ringing for another one. Now, at this point, I was working in this sort of secluded section of our call center. And the reason why is because it was supposed to try to keep people from walking back to your desk. But what does it matter when everybody knows the secluded section that you sit in? So people just walk back to your desk and hand you extra work anyway. And what was supposed to happen, the way this is supposed to work is that if an agent wants to reach me, you dial the special code on your phone and you get to my line. Now, of course, people ain't doing it. Why? Because you can't get through. Why? Because I'm the only person here. Why? Because I'm stupid. That's why. Okay? Now, aside from that, I have people handing me like these little forms we used to fill out. And it was for when customers wanted us to call them back because it was too busy, they didn't want to wait, yada yada yada. So like, I'm getting more of them by the second. Like it is going to be impossible for me to do all of this work. So I'm like swamped, I'm sweating bullets, the whole nine. It's just a really terrible day. Like, I really wish I could put it into words how terrible of a day this was. And why didn't I call out? Why didn't I? Because I should have. I shouldn't have went to work. I straight up should not have gone in that day. I shouldn't have done it. And then, just like you'd expect, the day gets interesting. So, I get this one call. And just like 90% of all the other customers I talk to, 98%, yeah, about 98%, this dude comes in and he is furious, okay? Fuming mad, steam coming out of his ears, eyes are red, the whole nine. Now, I can't see this dude face to face, but if I could see him, I'm pretty sure that's what he'd look like. Now, he's mad because he broke his phone. And he wants another one. And of course, because he's a long-standing customer, he feels like he should get a free one. So he pleads his case. He talks and talks and talks. I look, I research, I read, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do this guy a solid. I'll give him a free phone. He wants just a little regular flip phone. He don't want nothing fancy. He don't want nothing with no fancy buttons on it, no push timers, none of that. He just want him a little regular flip phone. I'm like, all right, you know what, man? I really ain't in the mood to be arguing with you because I got 1,000 other people I got to argue with today. I can do it. I'll go ahead and send you a new phone. You'll get it for free. I'll give you the fastest shipping I have. I'll give you 2 days. I won't charge you for it. So you literally won't pay anything, and you'll have your phone. Let me see. I think I told him he'd had his phone by Tuesday because the next day was Sunday. We don't do shipping on Sundays. At least that company didn't do it at the time I was working there. So yeah, he would have got his phone like Tuesday or something. So anyway, he flips out on me at this point because he's like, I need a new phone. And I'm like, okay, I already told you I'll give you a new phone. I'll give you 2 day shipping. That's the fastest he got. I mean, the fastest we got. Then he goes into this whole spiel about how I'm a truck driver and I need a new phone overnighted to me. And I'm like, sorry, can't overnight the phone. Now, hear me very clearly. It's not that I don't want to overnight the phone. We literally do not have a button that says overnight. It does not exist. At least it didn't at the time I was there, okay? But the button doesn't exist. There is no overnight. Express 2 days is the best I got. So now at this point, I'm like, let me try to see what else I can do. So I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, hold on, sir. Like, what's your zip code? Tell me where you live. See if I can find a store close to you that has the same phone. Now, here's the thing. You go to the store, they're going to make you pay for it, but I'll credit your bill for what you're going to pay for this phone. Okay? So, if the phone is $40, I'm going to take $40 off your bill. You got it? Kind of makes sense? Yes, that's what I was trying to do. I'm going to even it out because I can't make them discount it in the store for them, right? So I'm like, that's the best I can do. You can go get you a phone today. You pay for it, but I'm going to credit you back for it. Just tell them to do blah, 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 and I'll fix it, That won't work for him. He's not happy. So I'm like, okay.
Here's what they don't get about gamers. Whether it's an MMO, MOBA, or console shooter, it's always 1v1, you versus you, in a battle to unlock your best. Something else they don't know about, Force Factor's 4-Brain Pro Gamer, only at the Vitamin Shop. Spike your stats with these capsules for improved reaction time, focus, accuracy, and decision-making. Plus, get essential blue light protection. Find your edge with 4-Brain Pro Gamer or Smart Nootropic for mental stamina and concentration. Score both at VitaminShop.com or the Vitamin Shop store near you.
You spend the first hour of your vacation at the luggage carousel thinking there's nowhere to go but up. But there is a place to go but up, because when you open your suitcase, you find it filled with dolls. Dolls like the ones in that movie that scared you so much you wet your girlfriend's bed. Ah, Marissa, the one that got away. You return the bag to the airport with relief. It lasts until you get back to your room, where a fallen doll waits to greet you.
Don't let a suitcase full of dolls ruin your vacation. Go on a real vacation. GoRVing.com.
My best shot. There is another department I can transfer you to. They can sometimes do some more stuff than we can. Do you want to talk to them next? He's like, yeah, transfer me to them. I said, hold on. Let me explain the situation. I get on the phone with them, tell them what's going on. They're like, yeah, cool, no problem. Send them over. So I transfer him. Call's done. I go on about with the rest of my day. Because like I said, I'm the only supervisor here. I got 1.5 million things to do. Like today is just not the day for me to be spending no extra time, no crazy amount of time on the phone with nobody, right? Now, fast forward. So this is Saturday. So fast forward to the next week. Now we're at like Thursday or something like that, right? And I get to work. And one of our managers walks up to me and he was like, hey, did you tell a customer you wasn't going to do nothing to help him and then just transfer him to another department without saying something? And I was like, what are you talking about? Why would I do that? Now, I know a couple people here who do that. I'm not one of those people. All right? Don't worry. I'm getting to the part where I get written up, but it's the whole thing. I got to tell you the whole story, okay? So, a couple hours go by. Another manager asked me the exact same question. Like, did you just, tell a customer you weren't going to help him and then just transfer him to a totally random department? And I'm like, no, I didn't do this. Where are y'all getting this information from? So, that was, I want to say maybe about Thursday. So now we're going to fast forward till about Tuesday of the next week. So at this point, I've almost forgotten about, this whole situation happening, them asking me about it. I'm like, okay, maybe they realized that they heard the call wrong, whatever. Then I get the famous log out after that call for me and come to the office. And I'm like, oh, snap. I am in major trouble. I don't know what I did, but I know I'm in trouble. So I log off, and it's me, my manager, and Chaos. Now, Chaos at this point has been promoted. He is the highest level authority figure in this building. The guy who he was under has now been transferred to another call center. So Chaos is literally the HNIC, okay? As if it wasn't already bad enough with Chaos standing over my shoulder, now Chaos is the one in control. And this just does not work. So I get into the office and it's me, my manager, and it's chaos. And he is sitting at his desk and he has like steam coming out of his ears. And I'm like, what is he mad at? What is he about to say? So then chaos goes into this long tirade for about 35 minutes, y'all. This is no joke. Now, mind you, this phone call with this customer was all of maybe 12 minutes long. Maybe. Chaos finds a way to talk about a 12-minute call for like 35 minutes. Just picking apart everything that I supposedly did wrong on this call. And the funny thing is, as he's playing the phone call, he'd play 3 words and then he'd stop and he's like, look, see right here, what you should have said is this. And then when he starts playing it again, I actually say the thing that he said I should have said. And after he did that about 3 or 4 times of telling me things I should have done and then pressing play again to hear that I actually did the thing that he said I didn't do, he stops playing the call altogether. He's like, you know what? Just the point is, you treated this customer so very disrespectfully. And I'm like, okay, Chaos, tell me exactly what I did that was disrespectful. He asked me for a free phone. I told him I'd give it to him. I don't know how you get disrespect out of that. Hey, can I have a piece of gum? Sure, you can have a piece of gum. Here you go. Don't give me a piece of gum. That's disrespectful. Why would you do that? Because you asked for one? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what he thought I did wrong on this phone call, y'all, because I'm like, all I did was give the customer what he asked for. Like, somebody help me understand this. So then, what I come to find out is that the customer wrote a complaint about me. And the customer said that I did absolutely nothing to help him and then just randomly transferred him without giving him any warning. Even though the call that I was on proved that I absolutely did not do that. I literally did the opposite of that. And I'm like, okay, this is hilarious. Here's where things turned mind-boggling for me, as if it isn't already there. Chaos tells me that if this were my customer, if this was my company, to satisfy a customer, I would have driven to his house to hand deliver the phone to him personally if it was my company. But because it's not my company, I don't care for the customer enough to take initiative to do things to help them. And I'm like, wait, sir, stop. When did I stop trying to help the customer? The only thing we got to a disagreement was when I told him I couldn't overnight the phone, which again, it's not something that Benjamin decided he wasn't going to do. It's your fault. Y'all don't offer that. I can't help that. I can just only offer him what y'all have available. I don't know what you want me to do about that, sir. I offered to give him a credit if he had to pay for a new phone. I really don't know what else you wanted me to do in this situation. But then it really got me to thinking like, wait, hold up. This customer's bill is $40 a month. Even if this was my company, a customer tells me that he broke the product. Not faulty product. He broke it. And I'm supposed to drive to him personally to deliver it when I offer you shipping, and I have stores that you can go buy the same product from. You must be out of your mind if you actually believe that to be like a holding business practice of yours. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that I think CEOs should be doing for their company, for their employees, for their customers, yada, yada, yada. But I don't see no CEO driving to drop off a product that they've already been told that their employees have already offered you to get yourself, and you keep denying it. No, that's anyway. So at this point, I'm sitting on the other end of this desk, about to flip the script. Because I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? Now, mind y'all, let me explain something to you. Chaos has no clue how to do my job. Chaos is an administrator. That is all he knows how to do. Give him a headset, give him this computer system, he will look like a deer in headlights. He knows nothing about how the interactions with the customers go. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody told him what to say to me about all the alleged stuff I did wrong, which is why he was wrong about all the alleged stuff I did wrong. And it's like, you don't know how to use the system. You barely know some of the basic policies and procedures. But yet you're somehow qualified to tell me how I did everything wrong, even though I actually didn't do anything wrong. My point being is that I'm just basically being accused of not doing all that I could do to kiss the customers behind. And on that day, they issued me what is called a first and final warning. Basically, this means that if I ever did this again, no questions, I'd be out the door. Now, I'm a lot older than that kid now. I wish I could go back in time and punch myself in the face for even signing that foolishness piece of paper, because I'm like, dude, no. Like, there was nothing about that was worth signing for you. I did nothing wrong. But this is what happens when you work in a building full of idiots who just simply like to take the customer's words and don't really care to check on their employees to see if their employees are actually guilty of doing whatever foolishness the customer accuses them of. But you live and you learn. But that's the story of chaos striking again. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Real Work Stories podcast. Catch you next time. Peace.
Are you obsessed with your shoes? If not, then you probably don't have Rothy's. Because when you have shoes that are comfortable, washable, and come in tons of styles and colorways, obsession is basically mandatory. There's a Rothy's shoe for every occasion. Flats, sneakers, loafers, ankle boots, and more. Step up your shoes this spring with a new pair of Rothy's. For a limited time, get $20 off your first purchase when you go to rothys.com/comfort. That's $20 off at rothys.com/comfort.
Here's what they don't get about gamers. Whether it's an MMO, MOBA, or console shooter, it's always 1v1, you versus you, in a battle to unlock your best. Something else they don't know about, Force Factor's 4-Brain Pro Gamer, only at the Vitamin Shop. Spike your stats with these capsules for improved reaction time, focus, accuracy, and decision-making. Plus, get essential blue light protection. Find your edge with 4-Brain Pro Gamer or Smart Nootropic for mental stamina and concentration. Score both at VitaminShop.com or the Vitamin Shop store near you.